I got Boots. Yeah, I got Boots. I think he's too skillful. IQ level, how quick he is. I think his level's above.
It's hard to really go against because on that one with specifically Xander, you're still young, you know? He's a lot older and has a lot more experience.
Fight that you dare to say is a 50-50 fight.
Yeah, it gives a 50-50 fight. I give it more, it's 50-50 in a sense. Because of the experience, you can go 60-40. 60 with Boots, 40 with Xander, but 50-50 fight, yes.
Boots has just looked more special athletically to me than Xander throughout their careers, right? On the other hand, you said Xander got better. Xander was so precocious. He was such a young fighter when we first saw him. And you don't have your man bones yet as a boxer. Now he's into his 20s, maybe a different fighter.
As excitement mounts for the clash between Jaron Ennis and Xander Zayas, boxing experts are making bold predictions. Ennis delivers raw power and seasoned experience, while Zayas brings youthful momentum and sharp technical skills, promising a thrilling generational showdown.
Ennis, it looks like we're going to be getting a fight with Jaron Ennis and Zayas, a great fight. How do those two match up together? We see Jaron Ennis really getting a crack at a guy who is as gifted as he is almost skill-wise, who has the determination and the will that you just talked about.
The winner of that fight should dominate the junior middleweight division for a little while, because those are the top two guys of the division. They're meeting at a great time, and whoever wins this fight should be the supreme 154-pounder.
Terrence Crawford sees a fight between Jaron Ennis and Xander Zayas as an exciting matchup, thinks it might be coming too soon for Zayas. He highlighted Ennis's experience and elite skill, noting that the young contender still needs more time to reach his full potential.
Xander Zayas announced this morning as well. Thoughts on that?
Man, that's a tough fight, you know, especially for Xander at this point in his career, but it shows his heart and his confidence, you know, that he has in himself. And he's ready to go make history for his country. And he's going to do real well in that fight. You know, I just think, you know, right now, you know, it's a little bit too early.
Former world champion Abner Mary echoed Crawford's view, agreeing that it might be too early for Xander Zayas. Mary highlighted that while Zayas is talented, he is still developing, and taking on Jaron now could be a premature challenge.
Likely possibly happening. Xander versus Boots. How do you see that fight going? Do you think maybe Xander's a little bit too young there?
Too soon.
Too soon. You think
too soon, brother? Yeah, I love Sanders, and if he waits and if he's smart and his team is smart, they'll hold on at least 2 more fights, and then, you know, release them to the wolves. And that's, I'm just speaking realistic in how I see it, because I wouldn't want him to lose a really hard fight and him just declining. You get me? And it happens. We've seen it with fighters where it's too soon of a fight. I mean, let's not go far. I mean, I hate to use him as an example, but when Vargas fought Trinidad, it was too soon, brother. And, you know, you got to be patient with your fighters. And I think they have to be patient with Xander Zayas. Not that I'm saying that he can't win. Maybe he can, but maybe he's going to get hit too much or injured himself. You get me? So wait a little bit for example.
However, legendary former champion Roy Jones Jr. has praised Xander Zayas as a well-rounded fighter, highlighting his balance, skills, ring intelligence, and maturity beyond his years. Jones's endorsement adds credibility to Zayas' rising reputation, indicating he has the tools to compete at the highest level.
A young guy like Xander, naturally it sounds like Xander may be an underdog in this matchup. What do you think that Xander presents to Boots that he hasn't seen before, and that too he'll have to adjust to be successful?
Height, discipline, and Xander's actually a good puncher, and he also knows how to work to the body. So Xander is a complete fighter. I don't know how many complete fighters Boots has faced, but unlike the guy he fought from overseas who was a decent fighter but he wasn't complete, Xander's complete.
Tim Bradley predicts that Boots could defeat Zayas, projecting a win around round 9 to 11. He explains that Zayas often tires in the later rounds, particularly around round 8 to 9, because the heavyweight cuts between fights drain his legs and overall stamina.
Stop Xander. He could. I've been reading a lot of comments and stuff, and people saying that, you know, 9, 10. I've been also seeing, you know, 11. Shit. Look, I just got done studying some Xander Zayas, man. Late in the fight, he begins to fade. You know, round 8, 9, he starts to fade. Yeah. You know, he starts to fade because all that weight he put on. You know, he put on so much weight in between fights. Boots, his ass put on weight too. I'm like, God, this dude is big. He look like he about 175. And he come all the way down to 54. Shit, that shit drains him. That drains him. And it pulls from his legs. And in the later rounds, he started to get fatigued. And I know.
Looking back at Zayas' last fight, it's clear that while he maintained consistent pressure, He lacked the advanced strategy or movement needed to effectively counter Boots' aggressive style.
Noticed that in the last fight. You know, he tried to keep it together with good technique, but shit, you can't hide that shit from me. You can't hide that from me, man. Went back, watched the film, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is standardized type of pressure that this dude been putting on him all night. It ain't no special effects. You know what I'm saying? He ain't cutting the angles and looking to cut him off. Occasionally, he will follow his ass once if he goes Xander pulls out left, he'll try to, meet him with a left hook or meet him with a right hand. But, it wasn't nothing that was like crazy. With head movement, the shit that Boots gonna be doing, all that head movement and sliding, tucking and moving on angles and shit. Boots, that's what Boots gonna attack his ass late. And Boots got power. He got major power.
Former world champion Shawn Porter views the Ennis versus Zayas matchup as highly competitive, praising the talent of both fighters. He highlights Ennis's experience and relentless pressure as a major threat, while also recognizing Zayas' skill, athleticism, and youthful energy, noting that each brings plenty to the ring.
I feel like you yourself, like I said, great boxing mind. I was wondering if I could pick your brain with the particular matchup that was announced yesterday. Okay. You sparred with both of these gentlemen. It's Boots and Zayas.
Oh, yes.
From what I understand, Zayas a little younger into his career. Boots, I believe sometime last year we were able to get some work with him. And you said it's a little closer than what some people are saying. So how do you view that in particular?
Sure, man. You got two soldiers. We always identify ourselves as warriors, So you guys know that we're warriors, right? But I think a lot of times, a lot of fans, they forget that there's two warriors, and they get so caught up in what one warrior has, and they completely forget that even though this guy's got something, listen, this guy standing across from me, like I was saying on the Porterway podcast, we understand that this guy is dangerous, and until we put that guy in the right position, we can't just.
While Porter favors Ennis as a likely winner, he emphasizes that the fight won't be one-sided, expecting a hard-fought, competitive battle where either fighter could come out on top.
And I truly do think that Xander has a lot, not just some. He has a lot of attributes that are going to offset what Boots has been known for, what Boots has been able to do. And I think it's going to be a pretty good competitive fight. I do think that Boots is a bit much for the younger Xander, but Xander's had a lot of really good experiences that's made him worthy for this moment. I think right off the top, I would say Boots wins this fight, but it's not an easy fight. And should Boots not just simply sit down at the dinner table and have his way? Don't be surprised. And I think that's another part of the game that gets lost. You got to promote both sides. Right. It's always A side, B side. And I get that. I understand that. But you got to promote the B side. Yeah. Because what happens when the B side is doing something that you don't expect? Right. All of a sudden, A side isn't doing what he's supposed to be doing, or he's not who he is. No, it's that the B side's more. But you got to promote it that way so that people expect more, So I think along the way, that's going to be my narrative. Is, hey, both these guys are really.
Hall of Famer Winky Wright believes a fighter truly proves greatness by defeating top-level opponents. He sees a matchup between Zayas and Jaron Ennis as exactly that kind of test, offering both fighters a real chance to showcase their skills and elevate their legacies against elite competition.
It's like Xander and Boots are going to fight. What are your thoughts on that fight?
It's gonna be a good fight, man. The division looking good right now, and I just want to see all the fighters fight each other, man. The best need to fight the best. That's what's gonna bring the fans to boxing. And you can only be great by beating somebody great. You know what I'm saying? You can have a bunch of wins with no great win. You're just a good fighter, but you want to be great, you need to beat another great fighter. So they got the opportunity.
Richard Torres Jr. says he's a big fan of Xander and respects his abilities in the ring. He believes Zayas has both the skill and heart to give Boots Ennis a serious challenge.
Question more for you. What do you think about Boots versus Xander? How do you pick that out?
Man, it's two insanely talented fighters. I, myself, am a Xander fan. I through and through since day one. I've known him since the amateurs. I'm going to rock with Xander. He's my guy. I won't ever go against him, man. So Xander's my guy, and I'm gonna keep with him. But Boots is such a talented fighter. I'm a fan of his as well, and I'm excited for that. I just saw he posted today that he signed the contract. So let's see how it goes.
Rising prospect Brooke Mullen made a bold prediction, backing Ennis to take control of the fight. She believes Ennis's power and experience could overwhelm Zayas.
Ennis, June 27th, Xander Zayas. I know we thought Virgil. I know we talked about that. I know we thought Virgil, but nice pivot. Yeah. What you thinking?
Oh, he's going to punish him. He's going to punish him. He's going to take him to school, and he's going to punish him. He's going to box his head off. Circles.
Damn, bro. Like that?
Like that. Taking him to school. Literally.
How does those fights differ? the Boots Virgil, the Boots Xander? Like, what's the differences in approach?
Well, I think that Xander's is bigger naturally, ain't he?
Yeah, he's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, but I think that I think Virgil's a little smarter defensively. I think Xander's more of a rough and tough type of kid. He hasn't really been too experienced and in there with guys the caliber of Boots at all. So I think he's just gonna be. I think it's just gonna be. He's gonna be so outmatched.
She predicted that Ennis could score stoppage as early as the third round, citing his power, speed, and experience as key advantages in the matchup.
He's not gonna know what to do.
Where's the stoppage? Early, middle, late?
Boots last time. I should have bet on that first round knockout, man.
Yeah, that was I thought it would go some rounds.
I know my friend was like, "What should I bet on?" I don't know. I was like, "Damn, I should have guessed the first." I'm gonna say the third or fourth. Yeah. Let's come back to this.
Okay.
Let's see how close.
Bernie analyzed the matchup, noting that while Boots has a strong chance of winning by knockout, Zayas is a highly skilled and formidable boxer who shouldn't be underestimated. He stressed the importance of assessing both fighters fairly, avoiding the tendency to underrate or overrate them. Comparing Zayas to other accomplished fighters like Karen, Bernie highlighted his technical skills, ring intelligence, and overall boxing ability. He made it clear that Zayas poses a real challenge for Boots, suggesting the fight could be highly competitive and a true test of both fighters' talent, strategy, and resilience in the ring.
Steve Main, thank you for the 2-piece. I got Boots by knockout, 9 or 10. Xander, not it. What's your thoughts? You think a knockout would happen?
I don't know. Xander can box. Xander's a big guy. He didn't field out for the weight. You know what I'm saying? He's put on a little bit more muscle. I don't know. I think
he can hold his own.
It's not. Yeah, definitely. And I think I don't want to underrate. I don't want to overrate Karen, and I don't want to underrate him. But I think if a guy like Karen can actually do even better, he did better even in the second fight. So I don't. I think Xander probably right there with him. So I would give it a good chance. I don't know, but I think it's an interesting fight because, I think Boots is the heir apparent. Everybody is waiting on Boots to outshine the pack. So, fighting for those two titles, against a guy like Xander. He still got a lot to prove, but that goes right in the right direction. That opens him up for the Kelly fight, which he's with over there with those guys. He can do.
Who will come out on top, Jaron Boots Ennis or Xander Zayas?